When Daniel married Lisa, he believed they were building a future together in the house they had just bought. The basement was unfinished but spacious, and Daniel had big plans to turn it into a home theater or maybe a gym. Lisa, however, seemed unusually interested in keeping it empty. She often made comments like, "We should keep it open, just in case." Daniel thought nothing of it at the time. For years, Daniel worked hard to provide for them, often putting in late hours at the office. Lisa worked from home, giving her more free time. She'd claim she was busy with online meetings or errands, but Daniel began to notice small changes. She dressed up more often, started wearing perfume even when she stayed home, and kept her phone hidden. Still, Daniel pushed away his doubts. One evening, while Lisa was out shopping, Daniel's friend Mark stopped by unexpectedly. They went into the basement to grab some tools when Mark noticed something odd, a mattress leaning against the wall, still wrapped in plastic. Next to it was a small pile of folded clothes, a toothbrush, and men's shoes that Daniel had never seen before. A chill went through him. Daniel didn't confront her immediately. Instead, he quietly began paying closer attention. Over the next few weeks, he overheard Lisa on whispered phone calls, saying things like, "He'll love it here. No one will bother us." It wasn't hard to piece together. She was planning to move someone into their basement. That someone wasn't Daniel's relative or a guest. It was her lover. He decided to play along until he had proof. One afternoon, while she was showering, Daniel checked her phone. He found a string of messages to a man named Kyle, filled with heart emojis and promises that the basement is ready for you. She even sent photos of the space, writing, "Once Daniel leaves for work, you can come down any time." The betrayal was a knife to his heart. Daniel felt sick but didn't let her know he knew. Instead, he began to plan his own revenge. He contacted a lawyer and quietly moved large amounts of money from their joint account into one she couldn't access. He also had the locks to the basement door changed, both upstairs and the outside entrance. A week later, Lisa told him she had a surprise, and needed him to work late so she could set it up. Daniel nodded, pretending to be clueless. That night, instead of going to work, he parked his car down the street and waited. Just as he suspected, a man arrived carrying 2 duffel bags. Lisa greeted him with a kiss before leading him toward the basement entrance. When Kyle discovered the lock had been changed, Lisa panicked. She called Daniel, trying to sound innocent, but he didn't answer. Instead, he walked up from behind them, keys in hand, and said coldly, "Looking for something?" The shock on their faces was priceless. Without a word, he handed both of them an envelope, Lisa's divorce papers. Lisa tried to plead with him, saying it wasn't what it looked like, but Daniel just laughed bitterly. He told her he knew everything, from the text messages to the plan of secretly living with her lover under his own roof. Kyle looked embarrassed and muttered something about just leaving, but Daniel had already called the police to have him removed for trespassing. The next morning, Daniel changed all the locks in the house and packed Lisa's things into boxes. She had to call her sister to pick her up. He also had the lawyer freeze her access to their joint assets, leaving her with nothing but the clothes she took that day. It didn't end there. Daniel also posted a simple message on social media. "To everyone asking why Lisa is no longer living here, ask her who Kyle is." Within hours, mutual friends and family members learned the truth. The embarrassment was more than she could handle, but Daniel didn't care anymore. Over time, Daniel renovated the basement into a home theater just as he originally planned. Every time he sat there watching a movie, he felt a quiet satisfaction, not because he had gotten revenge, but because he had reclaimed his home and his life. Lisa had underestimated him, thinking she could play him for a fool. Kyle never showed his face again, and Lisa eventually moved out of town. Daniel heard rumors she was struggling financially and bouncing from place to place. He didn't feel pity, she had made her choice. Daniel's friends often asked him how he stayed so calm through it all. His answer was always the same: the best revenge isn't anger, it's taking back control and making sure they can't hurt you again. And with that, he closed the chapter on his marriage, finally free from the woman who thought she could sneak her lover into his basement.